On today's video on Homes Explained, we're tackling a quiet fear every home buyer has. How do you not buy a lemon of a house? A house can look beautiful, but it can hide shortcuts in the structure, the systems, and the construction itself. So how do you know before you buy, and it's your problem to fix? Today, I'm walking you through the telltale signs that a home was truly well built, and I'll also show you the subtle red flags that suggest it wasn't. One little disclaimer before we get going, some of these faults are kind of really hard to capture in images, so I've done my best with the photography, but you'll kind of have to bear with me on that one. Okay, so the first thing to assess when you walk in a home is the levels and the alignment. Walk across the main foyer, the living room, the bedroom floors, and see if they appear flat and firm or whether there's a visible sagging or bounce. And sometimes with floors, it's not so much that you can see it, but you can feel it. And I feel men are better at noticing it than women. Notice whether doors stay in place or whether they drift open on their own, and look to see if there are any diagonal cracks coming off the corners of door frames. Then step outside. Some hairline cracks in concrete is normal, often to be expected, but wider than the width of a quarter, or horizontal cracking or stair-step cracks in the brickwork can indicate settlement. Uneven slabs, bowing walls, and misaligned windows can all indicate poor soil settlement or inadequate structural support. Structural problems aren't just cosmetic. Over time, they lead to continued movement and very expensive repairs. When the structure is level and properly supported, everything else in the home has a chance to age well. Next, look for straight lines. Stand at the end of a hallway and really try and line up your eye to have a good look at the wall. Is it straight and true, or is there a subtle bow in it? Look at cabinet alignment, countertop edges, and even the roof line from the exterior, because when a home is framed accurately, everything else that follows aligns properly. Beyond structure, craftsmanship tells its own story, because trim doesn't just decorate a home, it exposes the level of supervision and attention to detail throughout the build. Look closely at the baseboards and the crown moulding, if they're present. Are they tight to the wall, or do you see gaps filled with heavy caulk? Are mitered corners crisp and aligned or slightly separated? Do grout lines look neat and tidy or rushed and messy? While some cosmetic separation can occur with your typical seasonal expansion and contraction, excessive gaps can signal poor and sloppy workmanship. Careless finish work may seem minor, but it frequently reflects broader practices, while conversely, precision and pride in execution tends to show itself in the smallest details. By the way, if you enjoy learning about architectural details like this, I've written a book on Amazon called The Illustrated Guide to Homes for Real Estate Agents, though you don't have to be a real estate agent to enjoy it. Let me give you a quick peek. It shows you all about the inside and the outside of homes, everything you need to know. So check it out. I'll put a link in the comments below. Beyond trim, the real precision shows up at material transitions. So this is the point where different materials meet. So in the bathroom, it's where the hardwood floor meets the tile. In the kitchen, it's where the countertop meets the backsplash, and outside it's where the brick meets the siding. And transitions aren't just decorative, they're structural junctions. These intersections need to be clean, flush, and precise. Defects show up in uneven height difference between floors, cracked grout at threshold, visible gaps, or exterior materials meeting without the proper flashing, which poses huge risk of unwanted water intrusion. Now we move on from what you see to what actually keeps the house running. And most buyers never look at the home's mechanical systems, but this is where you can often see the true level of construction discipline. Look at the plumbing lines. Are they correctly routed, neatly strapped and supported, or are they kind of loosely run without any visible supports? Is ductwork orderly and properly connected, or crisscrossed and sagging? Warning signs tend to be obvious once you look for them. So tangled wires, poorly supported ducts, loosely sealed pipes, and HVAC equipment that seems undersized for the space. The risk isn't just cosmetic, though that is a factor, but it can mean uneven temperatures, excess humidity, shortened equipment lifespan, fire hazards, and expensive system replacements down the road. Beautiful finishes can distract from weak infrastructure, but a well-built house shows care, even in the places most people don't even think to look. Next up, if you really want to understand how a house was built, look in the attic. This is the one place that usually isn't staged, painted, or dressed for show. Is the framing clean and methodical, or does it look chaotic and hacked together? Is insulation evenly distributed at the proper depth, or is it patchy and inconsistent? Are vents properly installed and unobstructed? A well-built home shows intentional planning and accuracy in the attic, with proper airflow, balanced insulation, and careful roof framing. Red flags include uneven or lacking insulation, crushed or disconnected vents, damage to the trusses, and then kind of like a hack job in repairing them, visible mold growth, or even evidence of past moisture intrusion. Now, I'm mindful that when you're viewing homes, you don't typically get to go up into the attic. Certainly on a first showing, I don't let buyers go up into the attic because the chances of them falling through are too great. But that is why you have a home inspection. So make sure you review inspection pictures of the attic closely, review any findings while you still have the chance to negotiate, or if necessary, walk away. The attic is the most honest space in the house, and it tells you whether the quality of the downstairs extends into the bones of the home. And finally, there is one force that will test every home over time, and that's water. No matter how well a house is framed or finished, poor moisture management will eventually expose weaknesses, and that's why drainage, flashing, and grading deserve close attention. Start with grading. The soil should slope away from the foundation, not towards it, and downspouts should carry water well clear of the house and again the foundations. Check that gutters are installed and clean, and that flashing around the windows, doors, and roof penetrations is all there, though in reality, if the home is finished, you shouldn't be able to see the flashing. It's more a case of looking for signs of damage and evidence that flashing hasn't been installed, rather than being able to actually see the flashing itself. On the exterior, look for rot, staining, or peeling near joints. Inside, is there a musty odour or kind of ceiling discoloration or stains? These can all signal moisture issues. Left unchecked, water leads to mould, rot, foundation damage, and very expensive remediation. When people walk in a home, they're often drawn just to what they can see. But the true quality of a house isn't found in the finishes, though it's there as well. It's found in the structure, the systems, and the precision. A well-built home doesn't just look good on day one, it performs well for decades. It feels solid underfoot, the lines stay true, the details hold, the systems are organised, and water is managed intentionally. None of that is flashy, most of it is invisible. And once you start to recognise these signs, you stop being impressed by surface level upgrades and start understanding which homes are truly built to last. Thanks so much for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. And I'll see you next week for more Homes Explained.